Hello and welcome to Hyperlocal in Huntsville, Alabama. I'm Sarah Runyons with Cove Living, brokered by eXp Realty. And today I am so excited to be talking to an herbalist, Sandi Billings. She owns Wild About Herbs. I've met Sandi through a couple of different people in the past, and now I am just so excited to get to talk with her about her business, what it is she does. And I know just from talking with her that she's really got a passion for helping people in the way that she's been helped by what it is that she does. So, Sandi, welcome to Hyperlocal in Huntsville.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much for taking the time to find out about what it is that I do, and I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, I'm so glad to be interviewing you today. And so, if you would just, I've given a brief intro, but if you will just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, so I am a certified health coach and community herbalist, and my goal is to educate people about the benefits of herbal and natural remedies. I don't only focus on the herbal remedies. I just try to do things all natural. My family tries to do things all natural. And so that's why I do what I do, to help and educate other people on how to do it.
Okay. And so our screen has frozen a little bit. Occasionally, I'm just going to say to my audience, if it does, I can still hear your audio just fine. So we'll let it keep going and people can hear your answers even if the screen slows down. So
Okay.
that seems like to be a common theme I hear from a lot of business owners, that sometimes, especially in what you do, it's an outgrowth of your own personal journey. And so tell us a little bit more about the story about how your business came about.
Okay. So what you said is absolutely true. It did come from my personal journey. When my kids were younger, they were always sick, either with asthma or allergies or ear infections. And so they were always on some type of pharmaceutical medication. And they had a lot of side effects with some of those medications. So at the time when they were smaller, there really wasn't a lot of information on natural remedies. But as they started to get a little older and school age, more information started to come out. So I started to research all the natural ways that I could help them. It pretty much started with essential oils. Everybody's familiar with essential oils, and I would, kind of do the diffuser with them, and at night maybe put cotton balls with some essential oils under their pillow to help them breathe better. And that's really how I got started. And then my daughter, when she was younger, she couldn't use regular soap. And so I had to buy natural soap, and it was expensive to say the least. So then finally I thought, you know what, I'm just going to try and make it myself. So I did. And over the years, I perfected my recipe, and people would spend the night. My kids' friends would spend the night, or as my daughter got older and had her own place, they would say, wow, I love your soup. And she'd say, oh, my mom made it. And that's really how I got started. People wanted to start buying it. And then people would come to me and say, hey, do you know like a remedy for this or that? And I wanted an education on it. So I went to health coaching school and got my certificate. And then I found a school in Arab, Alabama, where I currently live. And I went to school for a few years. And so that's where the community herbalist comes in. And so it's not anything from everything I learned in school. It really is all God. He gave me the gift to know what to use and when to use it. I pray about everything I make. I pray over everything I make.
Mhm.
And that really is the key.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
there's my journey.
Okay, well, that's so interesting, and I know that many people have gone down similar paths because they had, issues with their family's health, and I know there are, multiplied millions of stories that could be told about alternative ways to do things, and if it works, and it's not and it's natural, then that's so much better. Now, how long have you
Right.
been in this business?
So I started making my products about 7 years ago.
Okay.
And, it just kind of continued from there. And like I said, I don't only focus on herbal, I research other natural ways to kind of try to help me and my family. I don't ever recommend anything to people. I always tell them, to check with their doctor first. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, a lot of doctors aren't trained in natural ways. But what they could do, I was blessed to sell in store in a pharmacy in Decatur, Alabama. And
Mhm.
that's pretty much not the norm.
Mm,
And
mhm,
they have a program that if you're on any kind of medication, you could bring that in and say you want like a tincture for migraines. They can tell you if it's going to act or interact with any of the medications that you're taking, which is a blessing to people.
mm.
Sorry.
So we've had a few technical difficulties, but we're going to press through because we can still hear the audio of Sandi. And Sandi, you were talking about how working for a pharmacy that you were able to get a consultation from the pharmacist about how certain remedies, natural remedies, might interact with medications that people take. And you will not recommend things because you want to make sure that the people are going to their doctors. But then, unfortunately, sometimes the doctors don't always know a lot about the remedies either. So
Right.
maybe it's good to find some doctors that are familiar enough to be able to help people with that. But I understand what you're saying though,
Yes.
because this in this litigious world we live in, you don't want someone coming and saying, "Oh, you recommended I do this," and you're not a doctor, and you don't want to have someone
Right.
uh, blame you for their health outcomes. But at the same time, if this is something that can be beneficial, then maybe people need to be open enough to consider the option. And so I
Right.
hear what you're saying there. Uh, did you want
Well,
to add to that?
so since I'm not a doctor,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Since
No,
I'm
no.
not a doctor, I don't recommend anything to anybody. I
Right.
sell in a pharmacy, and the pharmacist there told me that if they come in and they want like a migraine tincture, they
Mm-hmm.
can, and they're on medication, they can
Mm-hmm.
go to the pharmacist and they can
Mm-hmm.
actually look up to see if any of those herbs in that tincture will conflict with any medication they're on. So I think
Yes.
that's really good. I don't know if all pharmacies do it, but that is a good thing for people to be
Mm-hmm.
able to do.
For sure. I don't think, well, I think most pharmacies, you can ask at least and find out. I think some pharmacies may be better at it than others, like
Right.
some compounding pharmacies and that sort of thing might be a little bit
Yes.
better about it. Um, So you've already described this a little bit, but one question we talked about was how would you describe your approach to serving your clients and customers, and what sets you apart in terms of your client and customer products or services?
Well, so I really like to listen to my customers and kind of find out they might make a statement like, I have a headache or I have constant stomach pain. And so I'll try to find out a little more information if they know certain times, certain things they eat, or certain things that they do, and just try to find out a little more and really listen to what they're saying,
Mm-hmm.
and then provide them with a product that'll help them.
Mm-hmm.
I've also had people come to me and say, "Hey, you sold me this stomach tincture, and it's for IBS, but I have acid reflux and it really helped.
Hmm.
And then I look at
Mhm.
the ingredients and I think, oh yeah, you know what? It really should have helped, but that's not really what I made it up for. So it
Mhm.
kind of helps in different things that people have and do. But I really listen to them, and I don't focus only on the herbal
Mhm.
remedies. I
Mhm.
like to talk to them about other natural remedies that maybe they could incorporate.
Well, I think that's a good point
And
that you make, because
yeah,
everybody's bodies are different. Like I just think about how diets, for example, certain diets are really bad for some people, but really good for others.
right.
That's just a prime
That's
example of
absolutely great.
how somebody may react differently to something than someone else. Someone may have a great experience with an herbal remedy, and someone else it might not help them at all. So,
That's
I can
true.
see I
Yeah.
can see that that could be true.
Right.
And go ahead, was there something more you were going to say about that?
Well, if there is something that doesn't help them like they thought maybe it would, there are always other alternatives that you can look at. It's not like you said, it's not like a one thing fixes all. Everybody's different, everybody reacts different. And so then, I can work with them to try and find alternatives if that doesn't work.
I think it's a general consensus among most people. I mean, I know everyone has to earn a living, but there's a lot of pushback from people about the pharmaceutical industry. As we know,
Yes.
it's huge, and they have a huge influence over our uh, the medical field. And so I think, in retrospect, a lot of times we look back and people say, hey, maybe doing certain types of medical protocols was not correct. And yet, at the time that they're doing it, it's like, this is the authoritative, this is the way it has to be done. And so I don't think it hurts to explore alternatives, but you kind of do it at your own risk in a way because you don't know either. I mean, but let's
Right.
just face it, if even the doctors don't always know, then maybe we're not in bad company there. um, so,
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
um,
And I'm not saying like that I never take medication. Sometimes I have
right.
to. I don't
Yeah.
take anything long term. I'll take something temporary to get rid of whatever it is that I couldn't get rid of myself.
Mhm.
But I just think that society has been, I hate to use this word, but brainwashed into taking all these pharmaceuticals, and then they cause other side effects, and then they take
Mhm.
something else and something else.
Yeah.
And I know people that are on like 5 6 different medications that started off at one. So I think that if you try something natural and it doesn't work, you have to go to a pharmaceutical sometimes, but I just think that we kind of overdo it in our society.
True. I think so. Um, So I know that there are a lot of things that we could discuss, but I do want people to know that you're a resource that's out there. And we're going to talk more about how they can reach you. But before we do that, is there anyone you'd like to express gratitude to, whether it's like a mentor, like someone that has played a significant role in your business?
So I will be perfectly honest with you. God blessed me with this gift, and it's all glory to him. And
Mhm.
I do tell people that when they say, oh, you're so this or you're so that, and I'm so happy I met. It's not me, it's all God. I give all the glory to God, because without
Mhm.
him I wouldn't have the knowledge to do any of this.
Mhm. I think that sometimes we look at things in life that we think are mundane and don't see the miracle behind it. So I have to be in agreement that I think we do need to pay attention to how God is influencing the world and our lives, and that give him credit where credit is
Yes.
due, most definitely. So
Yes.
there are a couple of questions that I like to ask on all of my interviews here at the end. And if there's one thing that you'd like our audience to take away from this interview about you and your business, what would it be?
Well, that there are alternatives to prescription medications. And, I'm not saying like don't see your doctor, don't stop taking your medication. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying that there are ways to incorporate more natural methods. And of course, to always talk to your doctor. Even supplements can interact with some medications, which I don't think people really think about. So that before you take anything, talk to your doctor. But there are things that you can try that could help besides prescription medications.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. So if you will, go ahead and tell us where our audience can find you, and we're going to link uh, those things in the comment section of this YouTube video. Um, and tell us where you're located and all of that.
Okay. So I do sell in several stores. I have a storefront in Hartselle, Alabama, and it's the Wild About Herbs. It's at the 36 West Building at 209 Main Street in Hartselle. I sell in River City Pharmacy on Spring Avenue in Decatur, Southern Trends on Winchester Road in Huntsville, University Pickers in it's on Triana Boulevard in Huntsville, Vintage Lorelei on Main Street in New Hope. And then I'm online at wildaboutherbs.com. And then I can be found on Facebook, Wild About Herbs / It's All God, and Instagram, sans_Wild About Herbs.
Okay, thank you for telling us that. And I'm going to get that info so we can have it in a written place too for people to find you
Okay.
and maybe talk with you about what they may need help with, and then see if there's something that you have that would help them. I appreciate your time so much today, and I will just say there's a backstory to this video. We have been overcoming challenges, technical challenges by leaps and bounds today, and I will just say that together, Sandi and I are very persistent, and we don't give up, do we?
No, definitely not.
We are not
Yeah,
digital natives. I
I
will
want to
say that
thank you,
too.
Sarah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, it was such a pleasure talking with you, and we'll have to do this again sometime.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a blessed day.
You too. Bye.